Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Abil Qasim al-Mustafa Muhammad. Wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. La siyama baqiyatillah fil aradin. Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu al-sharif. Allahumma akhrijni min dhulumat al-wahm wa akrimni bi nur al-fahm. Allahumma aftah alayna abwaab rahmatik wa anshur alayna khaza'in ulumik bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahim. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of interfaith dialogue from an Islamic perspective. So far, we have studied commonalities between Islam and Christianity based on my short book on Mary, Jesus, and Christianity and Islamic perspective, and the presentation which I had in Subiaco Center in Kenya. Then we, of course, before that we had the PowerPoint presentation which was prepared for Manila about definition, nature of interreligious dialogue, policies, and manners. So that was the first thing. Then the second was about commonalities. The third thing was unity of God and unity in God. We had 4 PowerPoint presentations based on the book Unity of God and Unity in God, which has the first lectures that I had tawfiq to give in the first round of Wings of Unity in Italy. And now I would like to share with you some more thoughts on the concept of religion and the concept of the book in the Quran. In the past, I referred to this briefly, but we needed to expand on them. For this one, I am using the transcript of my talk as the keynote address in inauguration of IRDIS. IRDIS is the Institute for Interreligious Dialogue and Islamic Studies of Tangaza University. When we started our work with our friends in Tangaza University, there was no IRDIS. Initially, when we started in 2017, there was Islamic studies. But then we started working together. We had a 3-week course on Islam and Christianity, etc. Then they decided to have an institute, not just a department for Islamic studies, an institute for interreligious dialogue and Islamic studies. And they invited me to go with one of the brothers from Canada. We went together, and I had this presentation there. The exact date was 1st of November 2019. So 4 years and a month, about 4 years and a month. This lecture is also available on YouTube. And the title is Demonstration of the Foundations of Unity, Qur'anic Notions of the Religion and the Book. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the Compassionate, the Merciful. I am very grateful to God the Almighty for giving me the opportunity to be here again. With members of the Catholic Shia Dialogue, we were here in September 2017. And we had 2 half-day programs at Tangaza University. We were very much, happy for the 2-day program and 2 half-day program that we had in Tangaza University. And it was, thanks to God, so good that we decided to continue our relations. And the theme was Unity of God and Unity in God. And they said with this theme, we should always, every year, have something. So we very much enjoyed the depth of discussions that we had here. Thanks to God, we managed to keep the promise that we made to each other of working together. And I found in Tangaza University faculty a deep commitment to work for unity. So I am proud of you, and I am very grateful for the friendship, brotherhood, and unity that you have rendered to us. And I hope you have found also in us humble and open brothers who are ready to work with you for unity. I would like to also mention something sad that has happened. When we were here last time, we had with us Abbot Timothy Wright, with whom I started Catholic Shia Dialogue about 20 years ago. That is when this lecture was given. So now it's more. Unfortunately, he passed away, so I hope that his spirit is with us. But I am grateful that Father Dr. Maximilian, who is a member of our team, is with us, especially after he recently finished his PhD in Pisa. So there is a sad memory, but it is also compensated by the presence of Dr. Maximilian. After this introductory remarks, then I went to my main topic. So my theme, as you know, is demonstration of the foundations of unity, Qur'anic notions of the religion and the book. Before I enter into my discussion, I would like to say that although this is very deep theological topic, and I'm happy to engage with any Muslim or non-Muslim colleagues in the field of Islamic studies about the arguments and justifications for my position, this is something that is not just a result of my theological reflections. So it can be discussed theologically, and maybe people just by studying could have come to this conclusion. But for me, the journey was different. I was practicing interreligious dialogue, Muslim-Christian relations, and at the same time continuing my theological reflections. And these were together. So I say, it is what helped me reach this point. Maybe if I just sat in a library, I would still have come to this conclusion, but I am not sure. So I don't want to say that this is based on a personal experience or life experience, so that other people, would not find it objective. But I say, at the same time, that is objective and it can be argued for, but maybe for me, there was a special route to reach this point. And if I didn't have this practical side, maybe the theoretical side was not enough for me. It was not possible to open my eyes alone. So what I'm going to say is something that I have felt and experienced, and at the same time I have found theologically a very plausible position. And indeed, it would be very strange for me if someone thinks in a different way. So if someone with open mind reads the Quran, reflects on the Quran, I think should come to the same conclusion. Sometimes people ask me, do all Muslims think like you? I say, not necessarily, but I don't see any reason why they should not think in the same way. So as a matter of fact, they may not think the same way, but because it's based on reasoning, there is no reason why they cannot accept. So this is why we can engage in discussion. If you say there is a special access to the truth that I have and others don't have, then you say, okay, there is no need to discuss. But no, I don't have any special access to the truth. I have just gone the same ordinary path. But the thing is that I have done research, I have studied. At the same time, I was involved in the field experiences, try to explain everything for myself, reflect on them. be honest, and then this is something that I can share with everyone. It's not that there is anything that stops people from thinking in this way, but maybe people need time or something in their life to give them this kind of approach. First, I would like to start with a misconception that we have. Often we have this misconception. Whenever we study religions, we take any book or course, normally the way religions, and I am mostly concerned today about Abrahamic religions, are introduced to us as if we are dealing with totally separate religions, and that each one at a certain point in history was founded by a specific founder. Many people have this idea that Islam is founded by Prophet Muhammad, Christianity is founded by Jesus, and Judaism by Moses. Or some want to go earlier and say Judaism started, for example, from the time of Jacob. But the idea is this: we have different religions and different starting points, and between these religions are thick partitions and walls. This is the idea in the mind of people, many people who study religion. Sometimes it gets even worse, and this partition mentality comes even to the way we understand people from different schools or denominations of the same religion. We bring those thick partitions even inside each religion. And when you talk about someone from another madhab, another denomination, you think as if they are not from the same religion that you are. You don't consider them as fellow religious people. So sometimes maybe Shia or Sunni Muslims or Catholics and Protestants, despite their common religion, they find it very difficult to believe that their fellow Christians or a fellow Muslim from another school belongs to the same religion. Some people say, they don't believe in my religion. They are totally different. Maybe even sometimes, unfortunately, because of short-sightedness, we consider people who don't belong to our religion to be better than people who are in different denominations of our own religion. So they say, to be a Christian or Jew is better than being a Shia. Even, for example, the terrorists, sometimes say, if you kill a Shia, it's better than killing a Christian. The same can be, for example, in Christianity. Maybe they say, for example, if you are a Catholic, it's better to be a Muslim and not Catholic if you are a Protestant. Or if you are a Protestant, they may say, if you were a non-Christian was better. Everywhere these things can come. Maybe a Shia can think a Christian is better than Sunni. These are not right positions. We should not be too sensitive about denominational differences. Sometimes maybe some Muslims prefer that you don't belong to another sect over being from another religious community. So we have we have unfortunately inherited this kind of mentality. We think religions, in the way that we understand them today, started the same way. We think they were always different. They were always distinct. We think that God sent different religions. We think they started the same way as we have today. God planned them the same way as we have today. But this is not the way the Quran talks about religions. And as I said, I am concerned about the Abrahamic religions today. So my talk is about Abrahamic monotheistic religions. Let us look at the Quran. In particular, I want to draw your attention to two concepts. The concept of the book and the concept of religion. We see that in both cases, the Quran gives us a totally different image. God has not sent many books. And we don't have many religions. This is my claim. God has sent only one religion and one book. There are different editions, different versions, but only one religion and one book. So let us start with the concept of kitab. First, I will start with the concept of books. In the Quran, we have two ways of referring to heavenly or divine books. Some books are mentioned in the Quran by name, but they are not many. So we know the name of Torah, we know Gospel, Injil, we know Quran, we have Psalms, we have Suhuf of Ibrahim. So some books are mentioned by name, but not all the books. These are the ones that are mentioned by name, but we know that there are many more books that are not introduced by name in the Quran. Also, some prophets are mentioned by name, but the Quran says that there are many prophets whom we have not mentioned their stories to you. Lam naqsus. Sometimes the Quran refers to those books by using the plural form, kutub. For example, we have a beautiful passage in the Quran about the Lady Mary, because this was a Christian university and I as a Muslim was there, so it was very important to refer to Lady Maryam Salamullah alayha, Lady Mary. We have a beautiful passage in the Quran about the Lady Mary. I could mention other verses of the Quran which has kutub, like آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وكتبه ورسله. That is also a good ayah to mention, but I started with this ayah about Lady Mary. Of course, we have many passages in the Quran about Mary. The Quran actually talks about Mary more than the Bible does. But in one particular passage, when the concept of books is mentioned, God says, وَصَدَّقَتْ بِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّهَا وَكُتُبِهِ وَكَانَتْ مِنَ الْقَانِتِينَ. So she confirmed the words of her Lord and his books, and she was one of the obedient. Chapter 66, verse 12. Lady Mary affirmed the words of her Lord and the books of her Lord, and she was among the obedient. This is the same context in which God introduces Mary as an example for all believers. ضرب الله مثلا للذين آمنوا امرأة فرعون, and then ومريم ابنة عمران التي أحسنت فرجها, up to the part that I read. So here we have Mary affirming the books of her Lord. It's plural. So first we refer to the ayah which has Lady Mary. Then I refer to another ayah which I am quoted. In another verse, all believers in general way affirm all messengers and books. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله. The apostle, the messenger, Rasul, has faith in what has been sent down to him from his Lord. And all the faithful, each of them has faith in God, his angels, his scriptures, and his apostles. The messenger believes in what has been revealed to him. The believers also believe in God and his angels, and his books, and his messengers. The verse then continues. لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله. They declare we make no distinction between any of his apostles. So, we don't discriminate against any messenger. We have to believe in all messengers. There have been 124,000 prophets, 313 Rasul. We need to accept all of them. If I deny even one of them, I am not a Muslim. Even I say that I deny one, for example, person from that era or that land, it's a problem. I cannot bring any personal reason to reject one, or any sectarian reason to reject one, or any, I don't know, ethnic reason to say, because that person is from that ethnicity, I don't accept. No. I have to believe in all of them. So, I gave you two examples when Allah uses in the Quran kutub. These are examples of verses in which book is used in the plural form. What is interesting, however, is that the Quran also uses book in the singular form. For example, the very famous verse is the one that you all know. About dialogue, this verse is very much quoted and referred to. Surah Al Imran, chapter 3, verse 64. قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ تعالوا إلى كلمة سواء بيننا وبينكم ألا نعبد إلا الله ولا نشرك به شيئا ولا يتخذ بعضنا بعضا أربابا من دون الله. يا أهل الكتاب, O people of the book, come to a word common between us and you. Up to the end of the ayah. You are familiar with the ayah. Why we don't say قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكُتُبِ, Torah, Injil, Quran, other books? Why we say Ahlul Kitab? O people of the book, not O people of the books. It is people of the book. Unfortunately, we don't pay enough attention to this point. Why does God say people of the book and not people of the books? But it becomes clearer in another verse, where God says to the Prophet in Surah Al Imran, verse 184, فَإِن كَذَّبُوكَ فَقَدْ كُذِّبَ رُسُلٌ مِّن قَبْلِكَ جاءوا بالبينات والزبر والكتاب المنير. But if they deny you, then before you other apostles have been denied, who came with manifest signs, holy rites, and al-kitab al-munir, an illuminating scripture. Not wal-kutub al-munira. If they deny or reject you, and this has happened to previous messengers, then the messengers brought people manifest signs is plural form. Bayyanat is plural. Rasul, plural. Zubur, plural. Only Al-Kitab al-Munir is singular. Notice that Rasul is plural, Bayyanat is plural, Zubur is plural, but when it comes to Kitab, it's singular. Why? Unfortunately, this subtle point has not received enough attention many times. Why does the Quran sometimes talk about the book and sometimes about the books? Of course, even if we don't have any explanation, still the fact that sometimes the Quran talks about all these entities and as one book, Al-Kitab al-Munir, is enough to give us a different understanding. compared to the common one which is available. But it's very clear from the Quran itself that when it comes to what God has designed and sent down, it is kitab. And when it comes to what is in the hands and minds of people, it is kutub, plural. Because we look at Torah, Injil, Quran as books. But God looks at them as representations of one book. This one book is indeed not available to us. It is only available to those who are very purified, mutahharun. We have manifestations of a hidden book. So Quran comes from that hidden book. Torah, Injil. There is one reality, one haqiqah, that is al-kitab, which is the source, which is the origin, which is the substance. You have different representations, but you don't have different substances. إِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ كَرِيمٌ فِي كِتَابٍ مَكْنُونٍ. This is indeed a noble Quran in a guarded book. Chapter 56, verses 77 and 78. The Quran, the Gospel, and the Torah, they all come down from the original book, which is the hidden book. This hidden book is with God, and only those who are purified have access to it. لا يمسه إلا المطهرون. No one touches it except the pure ones, the purified ones. Chapter 56, verse 79. Sometimes I use this example. I say the Torah, Gospel, and Quran are different editions of the same title. You have a book or encyclopedia that sometimes has different editions, but it's still one author, one title, one purpose, one essence. God never rewrites himself. This is a very important point. God never rewrites himself. It's a mistake to think that God writes a book and then say, now we have to rewrite it, we have to change it. No, it's all one plan of God, but he gives humanity gradual exposure to what he has for us. So this is about the concept of the book. And about religion, Quranic concept. In the case of religion, however, it's easier to come to the conclusion that there is only one religion coming from God. Again, there must be understanding that there can be different representation, but it's all one. But there is misconception. They think God has sent many religions. In the Quran, deen or religion is never used in the plural form. In Arabic, the plural form is al-adyan, religions. But in the Quran, we only have religion. And there is only one religion. The only case where you come across the idea of two religions without using plural is when we are dealing with a pseudo-religion. This is a very important concept. In Surah Al-Kafirun, chapter 109, God says to the Prophet how to speak to the people who reject the faith. Kafirun are here those who deliberately deny it and reject the truth. They don't bother about the truth. قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد. All things show that they are insistent on their position. They don't want to accept the truth. The Prophet also cannot compromise about the truth. And then he says, لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينَ. So maybe someone says, okay, although the Quran has not used al-adyan But here we have at least two religions. Lakum dinukum, this is one religion. Waliya din, this is another religion. So Quran accepts that there are two religions. So the answer is that first of all, the other religion is not religion from God. The religion from God is one. Plus, the other religion is not really a religion. It's a pseudo religion. It's fake. Why? Because religion means to submit to a transcendent reality. Submit to something higher than yourself. But the other religion is to serve yourself. You become the worshipper and the worshipped. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَى. This is not religion. This is not a path. This is going around yourself. It's not religion. So, they think they have religion, but indeed they don't have religion, because there is nothing above and behind, beyond them. So, many people unfortunately think that when the Quran uses the term kafir, it means any non-Muslim. This is a clarification of what is the meaning of kafir. But this is not correct. The Quran has its own clear terminology. Christians and Jews are not kafir. In the Quran, when we say قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ, it's not including any non-Muslim. Quran has different terminologies, different concepts. Allama Tabatabai Rizwanullah Ta'ala in Al-Mizan, volume 1, he says that kufr is used in different senses in the Quran, and most of them is kufr al-juhud. Kufr al-juhud is for the people who deliberately deny the truth, although they know. جَحَدُوا بِهَا وَاسْتَيْقَنَتْهَا أَنفُسُهُمْ ظُلْمًا وَعُلُوًّا. Many people unfortunately think that when the Quran uses the term kafir, it means any non-Muslim. But this is not correct. The Quran has its own clear terminology. Christians and Jews are not kafir in this sense. Maybe from another sense, in fiqh context, you have another definition for kafir. Maybe you can say every non-Muslim is kafir. But you have to be careful that in the Quran, when we say قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ, it's not every non-Muslim. So that you say they have different religion. Allama Tabatabai, who is one of the best commentators of the Quran, in the first volume of his Al-Mizan, says that in most of the cases in the Quran, kafir refers to kufr al-juhud, a person who deliberately denies, rejects, and fights the truth. Someone like Abu Lahab or Abu Jahl. Those who are familiar with the history of Islam know these names. These are not Christians. These are not Jews. These are the people who have no regard except for position and money. These people did everything in their power to stop people from practicing faith. Not many people are kafir in the Quranic sense. It should be noted. Because Quran says these are people who deny while they have yaqeen. وَاسْتَيْقَنَتْهَا أَنفُسُهُمْ. How many people have yaqeen? Even how many believers have yaqeen? Yaqeen is achievement. Not many people who believe have yaqeen. Not many people who don't believe have yaqeen. Yaqeen is not very common quality. I have a challenge for those who study Islam. How many Muslims have reached certainty? Yaqeen. Islamically, it's very difficult to claim that you have reached certainty. Yaqeen is something difficult to achieve. The Quran says that these people who are kafir have yaqeen. Many Muslims don't have yaqeen about Allah and akhirah and revelation, but these people had yaqeen about Allah and akhirah and revelation, and still they didn't believe, denied. So this is not a large group of people who are who have kufr al-juhud. In any case, going back to chapter 109, God says, "O people who despise knowing the truth, fight the truth. And so you are, despite knowing the truth, you are fighting the truth. You are fighting the believers. I'm not going to worship what you worship. I'm not going to worship idols. You are also not going to worship one God. So you see, there is a still conversation. قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. So talk to them. And at the end, let's not fight. لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. Don't expect me to change my religion. And I'm not going to force you to change your religion. We will both see the results. We will both be accountable for our choices. So you have your religion and I have my religion. This is the only time where you have another religion. Lakum dinukum waliyadin. So we don't have adyan, but here we have two deen, two religions. But as I said, it's not conflicting and contradicting with our claim. Because you can technically call it a religion because it is their orientation in life. This is the way they live and behave. But the reality that is that it's not really religion. Because true religion must be centered around God. Or at least a transcendent reality, even if they don't call it God. You can say that people who do whatever they like have their religion. But you can say that indeed they have no religion. They are not religious people. You can say there are people who worship their own ego. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَى. Yes, this is one way. But in reality, you have no religion unless you submit yourself to a transcendent reality. If I just try to please myself, I can say this is my religion. But indeed, this is not true religion. You are just doing what you like. Religion means you have to commit to something higher than yourself. So apart from this case, we have only one religion in the Quran. What is that one religion? Some people say that one religion today is Islam. Inna ad-din inda Allah al-Islam. They say this means Islam of the Prophet Muhammad and the Quran, which came 14 centuries ago. So today, this is the only religion. We don't have other religions. And we don't have other religious communities. So they say there is only one religion, and that is Islam. What is Islam? They say Islam means Islam that Prophet Muhammad introduced. No other religion is valid today except for Islam. But I think this is not the Quranic viewpoint. When we look at the Quran, it's very clear what Islam means. It's very clear what God has planned. I'm going to share with you some verses of the Quran, and you will see that God actually has given us only one religion. All the prophets and all the messengers have called us towards the same God. And this is religion. This is the religion that God is pleased with. Of course, when it comes to me and you today, we are faced with different representations, different religions you may call, different denominations, different traditions. We have to do our best to find out the best representation. This is your search for the truth. This is your commitment to please God to the best of your capacity. But this does not mean that God has sent different religions and somehow abrogated or cancelled all but the last one. So some people unfortunately don't distinguish between practical rulings and religion. They think religions are also cancelled or abrogated or become mansukh. The only thing that can be abrogated is not religion. It is not even the entire Sharia. No Sharia was entirely, completely also cancelled. Some of the rulings can change. And this can happen even inside the same religion. Even in Islam, In the life of the Prophet, some rulings were abrogated. Quran has nasikh wa mansukh, abrogating and abrogated. So, if inside a religion or between two religions some rulings are changed, this doesn't mean that the religion has changed. Many people don't make a distinction between these things. Religion is not abrogated. Sharia, which is the code of law, is also not abrogated. It is only certain rulings of Sharia which can be abrogated. You know, we have a discipline called Usulul Fiqh. In Usulul Fiqh, some of ulama, not all of them, they believe in asalatu adam al-naskh. If there is a ruling in previous Sharia and you don't know what is Islamic position, you haven't received any guidance about this idea in the Islamic tradition. So some scholars say you can apply asalatu adam al-naskh, means we should assume that something which was in previous Sharia continues unless it is proved otherwise. So if in the previous Sharia that was the ruling, we bring it forward. So this shows that even Sharia is not cancelled as a whole. Yes, certain things can change. Even inside the same religion, certain things can change. It is amazing that even inside Islamic Sharia, we have abrogation. Even Muslim, know that in the time of the Prophet, certain things were abrogated. For example, there was a time that they had to give sadaqah when they wanted to whisper to the Prophet. Then that was abrogated. There was a time that in months of Ramadan, in the night when they are not fasting, they couldn't have marital relation. Then that was cancelled. So this is not change in religion. This is not change of the whole Sharia. So God has only one religion, and that is the religion of all prophets and messengers. What is it? What is that one religion? What is the one which is common between our prophet and other prophets and messengers? It is to submit your face to God. In Surah Nisa, verse 125, Allah says, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ دِينًا مِمَّنْ أَسْلَمَ وَجْهَهُ لِلَّهِ وَهُوَ مُحْسِنٌ وَاتَّبَعَ مِلَّةَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ حَنِيفًا. Who has better religion than someone who submits his face to God while he is a benefactor and follows the path, the tradition of Abraham, Hanifan, while turning towards truth. Hanif is someone who turns from falsehood towards the truth, away from falsehood toward the truth. So our prophet was happily and proudly following the path of Abraham. Abraham was also following the path of Noah. إِنَّ مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ لَإِبْرَاهِيمَ. Ibrahim was a Shia, a follower of Noah. Noah was also following the previous prophet. The one tradition. Today also we should do Islam in the sense that turn towards God, submit our face to God, and do ihsan, bring goodness, beauty to this world. If you turn towards God, you cannot do mischief. You cannot harm yourself or others. You can just do ihsan. So in Islam, Christianity and Judaism, we have this concept of wajhullah, or face of God. What is the face of God? God has no physical body. God has no physical face. So what does it mean that we should seek face of God? Or what is the meaning of wajh? So I have explained here and in some lectures, and also we discussed it in Unity of God and Unity of God, I think, that everything that gives you the best encounter of that thing is its face. For a computer, the screen is the face. For a fridge, where you can open the door, is the face. For a TV, for human beings, face is where there are eyes and mouth and ears, because that is where you can talk to someone, hear someone, smile at someone, you know. So the best aspect of us for encounter is our face. So because of this we say face, otherwise wajh is not for only human beings. Quran says لله المشرق ولله المشرق والمغرب فأينما تولوا فثم وجه الله إن الله واسع عليم. Chapter 2 verse 115. I don't need to go around and find God for maximum encounter. Rather, I should turn my heart so that I can have maximum encounters, because God is available everywhere. Of course, for certain reasons in the Salat we turn towards Mecca for harmony, for certain reasons. But it's not that God is only there. God is only in Masjidul Haram. God is everywhere. لله المشرق والمغرب. So what is faith? Faith is to turn your face to God. And if you are a believer, you turn your face to God in every aspect of your life. In your family life, personal life, business life, your studies, and so on. The face of God can be sought in every aspect of your life. Now, going back to the verse 125 of chapter 4, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ دِينًا مِمَّنْ أَسْلَمَ وَجْهَهُ لِلَّهِ وَهُوَ مُحْسِنٌ وَاتَّبَعَ مِلَّةَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ حَنِيفًا وَاتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ خَلِيلًا. It says that you must turn your face to God and do ihsan. Be a benefactor, do good. It's impossible to think that you are a righteous person and you just bring division and fighting. You harm and divide. It's impossible. That is not ihsan. What is ihsan? To bring love, charity, peace, respect, unity, development, make things better. This is ihsan. If you are really turning towards God, you reflect the light of God to people and you bring good to this earth. Then the verse says, and follows the path of Abraham. You don't see Abraham and another religion. It's not that Abraham had another religion. We respect him, but it's not our, figure. It's not our leader. No, we follow Abraham. But Abraham himself was following Noah. Allah says in chapter 42, verse 13, شرع لكم من الدين ما وصى به نوحا والذي أوحينا إليك وما وصينا به إبراهيم وموسى وعيسى. Allah has legislated for us the same religion of Nuh, Ibrahim, Musa, Isa. What was it? An aqimuddin, ad-din. One concept. Aqimuddin. ولا تتفرقوا فيه. Okay, our time is over. Let me see how much. Yeah, maybe inshallah we can continue next week, inshallah. So please remember that we inshallah start next week from page 10. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.